So today I'm going to be sharing with you a superpower that I have, which is speaking 5 languages. I will be speaking in each language and telling you a bit about how I have been learning it, and at the end I'll probably share some tips and tricks of learning foreign languages. I'll start with my native language, which is Azerbaijani. Çoxları əslində çox təəccüblənir eşidəndə ki, mən Azərbaycan dili ailəsində böyümüşəm. Çünki adətən mənə ingilis dilində və ya rus dilində danışanda, sonra Azərbaycan dilində keçəndə çox təəccüblənirlər. Mən valideynlərimlə yalnız Azərbaycan dilində danışmışam və bu dili çox sevirəm. Bu dildə danışmağı bildiyimə görə çox qürur hissi duyuram və düşünürəm ki, bizim bütün uşaqlar, gələcək nəsil hamısı Azərbaycan dilində səlis danışmağı bacarmalıdır. Bunun üçün tövsiyə edərdim ki, çoxlu ədəbi kitablar oxusunlar. Bu mənim doğma dilim olduğu üçün qısaca Azərbaycanla danışdım və indi rus dilinə keçirəm. Русский язык я выучила вначале в школе, дальше я продолжала учить русский язык в школе. В неделю 2 раза мы проходили русскую литературу и русский язык. На русском так сложилось обстоятельства, что на русском я разговаривала в доме с братом и, соответственно, с друзьями в школе, а также продолжала говорить на азербайджанском со своими родителями. Сейчас я поддерживаю знание русского языка, читая литературу на русском, смотря какие-то фильмы, видео и так далее. Now I'm gonna switch to English. I started learning English when I went, actually before I went to an English school. It was like a prep course, but I basically went from beginners to really immersing myself into English language. My first year was super challenging. It was my 4th grade and I had to do all subjects in English. It was very challenging for me, but that was the only year I struggled. And then it was easier from there on, and then I did my education in US. I studied international relations at the George Washington University, and then I did my master's also in English. Alors, je parlais un petit peu français. J'apprenais français quand j'étais à l'école. J'ai commencé à apprendre français quand j'étais en 6e classe. Et après, on apprenait le français à l'école comme une langue étrangère. Après, j'ai pris quelques cours à l'université aussi parce que je devais prendre une langue étrangère à l'université car j'étudiais les relations internationales. Et après, c'est vraiment quand je faisais mon master en Belgique au Collège d'Europe que je devais faire mes cours en français. C'était là-bas que j'ai pratiqué le français et je le faisais chaque jour. Maintenant, j'ai une petite fille, elle a 5 ans, elle va à l'école maternelle français et chaque jour avec elle, je pratique français, je regarde des vidéos, de dessins animés, nous lisons des livres en français et ça m'aide beaucoup à ne pas oublier le français. Entonces empecé a estudiar español cuando tenía 12 años y él lo aprendió durante 5 años. Tenía una profesora que venía a nuestra casa y enseñaba español y lo que hacíamos en la clase era todo, no teníamos que hacer ninguna tarea después y para mí aprender español no era una carga sino un placer. Y me parece que lo que hacemos es que escuchamos la música, miramos las películas, traducimos los libros de español a ruso y para mí era un placer hacer todo eso. Y lo que es importante después, cuando estudiaba las relaciones internacionales en los Estados Unidos, tenía que tomar un idioma extranjero. Eligió español y ahí tomó español durante 1 año más o menos y aprendió español ahí, mejoró mi español ahí, tenía un nivel avanzado. Y ahora mismo trato de hablar español, trato de escuchar algo en español, de mirar películas en español para que no olvide. Muchas gracias. There are actually 2 other languages that I have been learning when growing up, but because I left them off at my high school and then I never picked them up later on. I'm struggling right now to speak in those languages the way I speak the other 5 languages, and that's German and Arabic. My German level is somewhere between intermediate, but I've really lost the capacity to speak it well. Whereas with Arabic I can read and write and I can understand beginner's level, but I'm currently working on those 2 languages, trying to bring them up to the level of those 5 languages. And when I finish doing that, I'll probably be able to speak 7 languages. And I think that's the most amazing skill that anyone can have. Speak as many languages as you can. So now that I have shown you how I speak those languages, I would like to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I have gathered in the process of learning these languages, and I find that they help you to shift your perception of learning a language and make it easier for you to start learning one. So number one is don't put any deadlines. So I believe that learning language is a lifelong process. Never have a start date. Actually, you will have a start date the day you pick up the language and learn it, but don't put an end date to that, okay, in 1 year I need to speak this language. That really puts you into a frame and makes you really dislike the process whenever you feel like you're not doing it in the right time, and that will make you really abandon learning the language. So think of it as a lifelong process, enjoy it, and give yourself time to really immerse into the language. The second tip that I would share is make it as easy and as comfortable as possible for you. So, for example, if you find it easier to watch a movie rather than to read a book in that language, watch a movie. If you find listening to some songs easier than watching a movie, do that. Whatever works for you, whatever is pleasurable and enjoyable for you, make it work for you. Because when learning is easy, it's much more enjoyable, especially in the stages of early learning process. So make it easy for you, make it comfortable for you. Any learning is learning. There are no rules to learning. So be it videos, be it music, be it books, whatever, or maybe find a native speaker who can teach you that language. So make it enjoyable and easy for yourself. The third tip that I would share with you is never start with grammar. I know a lot of schools emphasize grammar and bombard you with grammatical rules, but I urge you to start learning a language like a little kid would do. Start with vocabulary, start with building up your vocabulary, try to speak that language, immerse yourself into that language, make it easy on your ears, and then once you build it up, or probably to an upper beginner level or an intermediate level, you can start learning the grammatical rules, and that would make more sense to you and you would enjoy it much more. So for me, learning language is the best example of learning language is watching kids learn a language, watching your child learn a language. You never introduce him to grammar, you speak to him, and only afterwards, once he is able to speak the language, we start telling them about grammar. The fourth tip that I'm going to share with you is tie it to another thing that you're doing in a day. So tie learning language to something else that you're doing throughout the day. If you cannot dedicate 30 minutes or whatever time frame you've given yourself, you will end up finding yourself like, okay, if I didn't do today 30 minutes, you kind of give up on it, and that would take you into a very negative downward spiral. You'll give it up easily, you'll stop learning at all. So in order for you to make it easier and able to keep it up on a daily basis, I would urge you to tie it to something else that you're doing throughout the day. Perhaps you're cooking for 1 hour every day. Maybe while you cook, watch a movie in Spanish or French or whatever language you're trying to learn. Or even if that's not possible, 1 hour is a lot. How about when you are brushing your teeth, which happens twice a day, and you are taking about 2 minutes or 1 minute on average daily to brush your teeth, make it 4 minutes. So 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. So whenever you're brushing your teeth, listen to something in the language you're trying to learn. That way you'll make sure that you don't miss a day of learning that language. The fifth tip that I will share with you is speak it. I know this sounds very cliche and I know it's obvious, but speak it and practice it. Don't be shy. Whenever you meet someone who's a native speaker in that language, don't feel shy about speaking and practicing the language, because in reality you're not a native speaker. It's fine that you make mistakes, it's fine that it's not very good, and it's fine that you're not able to speak it so eloquently. This is not your native language. And besides that, when a native speaker hears you talk his language, he or she will feel flattered by it and really love the fact that you're speaking the language of the person you're having a conversation with. So speak and practice as much as you can, and only that way you can really perfect your language. The sixth tip that I'm going to share with you is start as early as you can. Don't put it off for tomorrow. If you start today, you're going to be a day ahead. So there's no ideal day to start learning language. Start the minute you decide you're going to learn the language. And in fact, it's never too early. A lot of kids in school ask me, how did I end up speaking so many languages? And I said, when I was a kid, my mom made me learn all the languages almost simultaneously. And yes, a lot of people did say that I'm going to confuse them because especially Spanish and French, they're quite similar. I did confuse them in the beginning of my learning process, but once I hit a certain level in both languages, I never confused them. And I'm so grateful to my mother for introducing me to different languages and making me learn them. And now I recommend and urge, if you're a parent or if you want to learn language yourself, do it as early as you can. Never put it off for tomorrow. Thank you so much guys for watching my videos, having the patience to watch them till the end. I would urge you to subscribe to my channel so you can keep posted on the new videos that I'm going to be uploading. Thank you so much again, and I hope to see you in my next videos. Bye!